What's up, guys? Welcome back. Ben Golan, Chris Level here for the spring positional recap reviews. Today, we're going to be looking at the defensive backfield. This episode is brought to you by Primary Residential Mortgage Incorporated. Whether you are buying, refinancing, or taking cash out of your home, PRMI can help. They can be reached at prmiraider@primeres.com, through their website at lendingwithpassion.com, and we're going to post all their info below the player. So hit him up, Jim Mitchell. Y'all know him on the site at TTU Mitchell, I believe is his username. So, Chris, how are you doing today?
How are you, Mr. Golan?
I'm
It's
doing great.
good to visit with you, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a while.
yeah, likewise.
So we're talking the secondary here, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. This also is a position that kind of blends and bleeds into some different things, as you've got guys that we'll talk about that are kind of linebacker types that are really safeties, or they're both, kind of deal. So we'll try to cover as much as we can here, but let's start with corner. That is much like your D line, you get tremendous news from two guys that could have gone elsewhere, could have put their name in the draft. And
Yep.
I think, Malik Dunlap certainly had some, grade that he had something to think about. So Rashad Williams and Malik Dunlap are two guys that I think, again, these are, again, we know old, athletic, long corners that I think it's been kind of fun to see this duo kind of get after it, because it's not a position you worry about. You feel pretty good about it. You feel, while they may not be an all conference type, these are guys that are pluses to your defense, plus to the position. You'll desperately miss them when they're gone.
Yep.
And I will
Both
tell
transfer
you,
portal guys, too.
both portal guys. That's right, from the previous staff. And I will tell you that, much like Philip Liddy, on the defensive line, I think that maybe the biggest hit you've gotten of departing the program since the portal kind of really became a thing from your football program, and I may be missing somebody here, so don't hold me to this, but so I'll just say maybe one of the biggest hits, so it's Kobe Minor. I think, when he left, back in, December, I think, because I think he was thought to be close to being a starter type and could have
Hmm.
started it in nickel situations and would have been your third best corner. I mean, I just think it was all in front of him. But much like Blitty, I think he was ready to start and ready to kind of do his thing. I think that Indiana took him, and I think there may have been no, if a package deal is right. There may have been somebody else close to Kobe that also went to Indiana. So
Yeah, his brother.
yeah, wink, wink. Yeah. So that one, wasn't something you wanted to happen, but it is what it is. And so I think depth at corner is kind of a concern. Your starters are locked in, but whether this is, Nate Floyd, whether you have to move some pieces around and you have to play, one of these triplets like Chapman Lewis, or I don't want to make sure. Yeah,
Jordan Sanford.
yeah, Jordan Sanford, because it confused, because Brendan Jordan and Jordan Sanford. I'm going to screw that up a variety of different times.
A
I'm just
lot of
going to tell you
Jordans.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Brendan Jordan is the star, Jordan Sanford is the corner. But
Yeah.
the Chapman Lewis, the Nate Floyd's, the
Mo Horn.
yeah, and then Mo Horn is a guy that I think we need to talk about, because he missed most of last season because of an injury,
Yep.
and so he kind of is the one guy that moves up a notch because Kobe Minor departs, and so Mo Horn is really he's really that third best guy in my opinion on paper, and then you've got these young bucks that are breathing down his neck. And Nate Floyd is it's hard for me to like look at him and count on him too much, because this is somebody that's it's
Flip flop. Yeah.
lot of position change
Yeah.
going on with him. Doesn't mean it won't stick and he won't excel, but I mean it's just that's hard for a young player to trying to kind of find a home and stick with it and actually excel at it and all those things. So, uh, but that's your corner situation. So you're gonna just gonna say it. I mean, you're gonna lean on some of these young kids
Well,
at
one
some
guy,
point.
yeah. Well, it was just one guy who we didn't mention. He was hurt in the spring. Jalen Peoples, I think he played 2 games as a freshman. He was pretty highly regarded out of high school. I just, I know he got hurt at the end of the year. I know he was hurt again this spring. Maybe it's the same injury. I don't know, but I could look for him to also take the next, role. It just depends on him being healthy.
Yeah, and again, you're hoping, you're projecting.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of proven. But we've talked about inside linebacker, and I just don't think they were looking to use one of these very few available spots on a corner per se. I think they like their young players. These guys all got reps there, and I think they would tell you it's easier to play as a young player at that position than it is at others on the field. So I think that's their assessment, and so I think that's maybe why they don't feel like this is much of a need as it is like an inside linebacker when you have a few spots out there. But yeah, the Kobe Minor thing was, yeah, you'd feel a lot better about it if he was here because then you'd still have Mo Horn and you could really let these young guys kind of grow up. But again, that's not what happened, and away you go. At and you did lose Reggie Pearson in one of your secondary spots last year. I think this is because Tyler Owens had beat him out in bowl prep. I think Tyler Owens has got more upside. I think Tyler Owens is better in coverage. I think not a knock on Reggie, but I just think it was. I don't think anybody was too upset about him leaving. And again, it's not a knock, but I think this was Tyler Owens' job. Period.
Hmm.
And I think Tyler Owens is somebody that if you get a long glimpse of him this year, this is somebody that could also have his name called in the draft next year. This is what you're dealing with here. He has got measurables. He's got range. He looks like it's supposed to look like. He's a great kid to be around. And again, he missed the spring, but he had a phenomenal bowl game. I was all over the place. And I think you'll like what you've got there. And then CJ Baskerville will replace Money Waters at the star position. And then, backing him up is Brendan Jordan. I'm
Hmm.
looking down to make sure that I didn't say Jordan Sanford. But yeah, Baskerville was a sneaky good addition. One of the guys, for whatever reason, we just didn't talk about a lot this spring. But I think people started to see some of that when they got a glimpse during the red and black game of what he can do. And I will tell you right now, it's going to be really difficult to be better than Muddy Waters at this position because I think Muddy he led the NCAA in tackles for losses at DB and things like
Yeah.
that. He's just really good, really sharp. But in coverage, Baskerville will be better. I don't have a problem saying that at all. I think he's faster. I think he's got more measurables to him. He's a bit taller, longer arms, things like that. And again, I think the sneaky good addition there out of San Diego State. And I think a guy that I want to mention that people probably don't think a lot about because I'm going to get to Rabbit in a second, so don't let me get off track. But like Joseph Plunk is a guy that is your typical Red Raider, man. Undersized, coach's kid, blue collar. You look at him and go, yeah, but I'm telling you, man, the guy is everywhere. He's football IQ off the charts. He shows up every day. You can put him in a variety of different spots. They're going to put him on special teams. He's just a football. His dad is the head coach at Amarillo Tascosa, does a great job. And I just think Joseph Plunk is somebody that I don't want to do this and talk about DBs without mentioning him. And Rabbit Ben will be your kind of quarterback of the defense. His responsibility is to get everybody lined up from that free safety spot. And he's very talkative. He's very smart. You will miss him more than you realize when he finally graduates from here because he's just one of those guys that he's got some stats. I think he had 3 picks last year, I think. But He's just very smart. Is this a dog that I hear?
I have two dogs, and they love
Well,
anytime someone walks up to the door, they
yeah.
love
Well,
that.
Ben, you can. Well, I'm sitting here talking. You could have hit mute, but maybe we need to teach Ben Golan, the mute button.
I'm not the expert like Dickens, who's just
I
muting people left and right, you
I
know.
got you. I got you. But Rabbit, man, this is one of the better players on your football team.
Yeah,
I really say that with all confidence. He just kind of finds the ball and he's around the action and you can't. He's just got a knack. But I think that your younger kids. But the name that I'm really excited about though this season that I don't think will be talked about enough is probably Tyler Owens. I think that this is a guy that has a chance to really make a huge difference into what if he can stay healthy.
yeah, yes.
So yeah.
Both him and Rabbit, both super seniors, both corners are super seniors. So this is a very experienced secondary, which is exactly what you want in this league. Owens was a top 100 recruit. Rabbit was a two-star running back from Oklahoma. And so very different paths of getting here, but there's your projected starters, and it's been cool to see Rabbit's growth from when he got here to what he is now as kind of a leader and one of the best players in the secondary. Um, and the staff, man, there you mentioned Brendan Jordan, Sanford, and Chapman Lewis. Those are three true freshmen. I mean, there's more on the way too, coming in June, and I wouldn't be surprised if those three guys I mentioned, play a role because Brendan Jordan's right now he's CJ Baskerville's immediate backup, which
Yeah,
is
and
a
like well,
good.
and like Chapman Lewis, I think he was one of the best tacklers in the entire spring. I mean, just everybody when you talk about him, I mean, it's just like when he gets around you, you're coming down. I mean, does he need to add 10 or 15 pounds? Absolutely. And that's the problem with young guys is they just haven't been in the program long enough
Yeah.
and in the weight room and in the nutrition program and all the things that come with to kind of make that happen just overnight. It just takes a bit. But I think when he adds some good weight, I think that yeah. But I mean, they're extremely pleased with their early enrollee group. This spring as it relates to DB, and they all knew that these guys are more than likely going to get pushed into duty. And it's just like some of the other positions we've talked about. You're really old and
Hmm.
really young,
Yeah.
and there's not just a whole lot in between some of that. But I'll take the really old part any day of the week. I mean, and that and that will allow some of these younger kids to they may get pushed into duty quicker than they wanted to, but also they're not being asked to like carry it all or anything like that either. They've got the older guys in front of them, but yeah, your secondary to me is in really good shape. But there's a few depth questions and things like that. But I do think the young kids, the upside there is off the chart. Cam Watts is another name that we haven't mentioned. That
Hmm.
can do some different things. So anyway, we'll see what we get. But boy, I like your top 5 to 7 guys there a lot. I think you're in pretty good shape there. So, but I guess we'll see what we can get. Hopefully, they all stay healthy.
Yeah, good stuff. And things definitely improved when you think back to Murray State week one and just throughout
Mhm.
the year, because that week one, Murray State was just launching some bombs downfield.
Well, and some of that, people. I don't want to just pin this on any one individual, but I mean, I think a lot of that, yeah, you had some eyes in the backfield. I think
Yeah,
Rayshad and Malik kind of got better on it. I knew NC State tried to go at Malik quite a bit with his former program
he
and
had a great
Raleigh,
game. Yeah.
and they had no success there. I think that some of those big plays you gave up, Reggie Pearson responsible for some of that. I think you remember the big hits and
Hmm.
things like that, but you also, you give up some deep shots down the field because you're just, you're looking to lay the big hit or your eyes get caught in the backfield or whatever. And I just, so I think you've upgraded from a coverage standpoint too, and a measurable standpoint as well. But yeah, again, you're not perfect. I don't know if you have the best secondary in the Big 12 or anything, but boy, I think you ought to be really
pretty good.
solid to even some serious upside there too.
Yep, and a big challenge coming right away with at Wyoming and then versus Oregon. So
Yeah.
should be fun to see. Well, good stuff, Level. Thank you guys for subscribing to RedRaidersports.com, and we'll keep an eye on this position. If they look to add another corner, as we talked about earlier, we'll see. So thanks, guys.